Hello, welcome to Study Circle. Today we are going to read Class 11th Standard Political Science, Part 1 Political Theory, Chapter 5 Rights. In this video, we will only read the summary of this chapter. If you are preparing for any teaching exam, then this video is going to be very useful for you. So, without wasting any much time, let's start. This video is only for revision purpose. So, I tried to cover all the main points of this chapter. Rights are claimed not only in relation to our political and public lives, but also in relation to our social and personal relationships. Moreover, rights may be claimed not only for adult human beings, but also for children, unborn fetus, and even animals. The notion of the right is thus invoked in a variety of different ways by different people. Rights, entitlement, or a justified claim. It denotes that what one is entitled to as citizens, as individuals and as human beings, it is something that one considers to be due to him, and rest of the society must recognize as being a legitimate claim that must be upheld. Grounds of claim of rights. Source of self-respect and dignity. Collectively seen as a source of self-respect and dignity because they lead to the fulfillment of basic needs, gives us freedom to pursue our talents and interests or take the right to express ourselves freely. Rights such as the right to a livelihood or freedom of expression would be important for all human beings who live in a society, and they are described as universal in nature. Necessary for well-being. They help individuals to develop their talent and skills. For example, right to education helps to develop our capacity to reason, give us useful skills, and enables us to make informed choices in life. However, if an activity is injurious to our health and well-being, it cannot be claimed it as a right. For example, prohibited drugs are injurious to one's health, so one cannot insist that he has the right to inhale or inject drugs or smoke tobacco. Source of rights. In the 17th to 18th century, rights were derived from natural law. Rights were not conferred by a ruler or a society, rather one is born with them, and it implies that no state or organization should take away what has been given by the law of nature. Rights were considered to be given to us by nature or God. These rights are inalienable. They identify three natural rights of man: the right to life, liberty, and property. The conception of natural rights has been used widely to oppose the exercise of arbitrary power by states and government and to safeguard individuals' freedom. In recent years, the term human right is being used more than the term natural rights because the idea of there being a natural law or a set of norms that are laid down for us by nature or God appears unacceptable today. Rights are increasingly seen as guarantees that human beings themselves seek or arrived at in order to lead a minimally good life. Assumptions behind human rights. All persons are entitled to certain things simply because they are human beings, and all persons are equal and no one is born to serve others. Equal opportunities to realize full potential, as each of us possesses an intrinsic value. This conception of a free and equal self is increasingly being used to challenge existing inequalities based on race, caste, religion, and gender. Universal human rights. The notion of universal human rights has been used by oppressed people all over the world to challenge laws which segregate them and deny them equal opportunities and rights. On 10 December 1948, the General Assembly of United Nations adopted and proclaimed the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Expansion of human rights. As societies face new threats and challenges, for instance, world is very conscious today of the need to protect the natural environment, and this has generated demands for rights to clean air, water, sustainable development. Legal right and the state. Need of legal recognition of rights. While claims for human rights appeal to our moral self, the degree of success of such appeals depend on a number of factors, such as the support of governments and the law. A Bill of Rights is enshrined in the constitution of many countries. Fundamental rights in India. Other laws and policies are supposed to respect the rights granted in the constitution. Sometimes these may be supplemented by claims which gain importance because of the particular history and customs of a country. For example, India have a provision to ban untouchability, which draws attention to a traditional social practice in the country. Due to importance of the legal and constitutional recognition of our claims that several theories define rights as claims that are recognized by the state. The legal endorsement certainly gives our rights a special status in the society, but it is not the basis on which rights are claimed. In most cases, the claimed rights are directed towards the state. For example, when one wants to assert his right to education, he calls upon the state to make provision for his basic education. Constraint upon state action, rights ensure that authority of the state is exercised without violating the sanctity of individual life and liberty. Kinds of rights. Political rights. It gives the citizen the right to equality before law and right to participate in political process and includes such rights as the right to vote and elect representatives, the right to contest elections, etc. They are supplemented by civil liberties. Civil liberties refers to the right to a free and fair trial, the right to express one's views freely, the right to protest and express dissent. Collectively, civil liberties and political rights form the basis of a democratic system of government. They protect well-being of individual by making the government accountable, by giving greater importance to the concern of individual over that of the rulers, and by ensuring that all persons have equal opportunities. Economic rights. Need. Need of economic right is that our rights of political participation can only be exercised fully when our basic needs of food, shelter, clothing, health are met. The status of economic rights is that democratic societies are the beginning of recognizing these obligations and providing economic rights. Cultural claim of rights. The right to have primary education in one's mother tongue, the right to establish institutions for teaching one's language and culture are today recognized as being necessary for leading a good life. Kant on human dignity. For the 18th century, a German philosopher, Immanuel Kant, said that every person has dignity and ought to be so treated by virtue of being a human being. According to Kant, to treat people with dignity was to treat them morally. Kant's views represented what is called the moral conceptions of rights. This position rests upon two arguments. First, that treating others as we would like to be treated ourselves. Secondly, make sure that we don't treat the other person as means to our ends. While some rights, primarily the right to life, liberty, equal treatment, and the right to political participation, are seen as basic rights that must receive priority, other conditions that are necessary for leading a decent life are being recognized as justified claims or rights. Rights and responsibilities. Rights not only place obligation upon the state to act in a certain way, but they also place obligation upon each of us. Common good, not just of our own personal needs, but to defend some things as being good for all. They represent the common good that need to be protected for ourselves as well as for the future generation. Respecting rights of others. In exercising one's rights, one cannot deprive others of their rights. Some rights must be limited by the principle of equal and same rights for all. Balance our rights when they come into conflict. Responsibility. Citizens must be vigilant about limitations which may be placed on their rights. There is a need to be extremely cautious about giving governments powers which could be used to curtail the rights of individuals. So, this is the summary video of this whole chapter. I tried to cover all the main points of this topic. So, if you like this video, then do like, share and subscribe. Thank you.